Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City will be rocking for opening day in 2.5 weeks. And that means still time to enjoy the beautiful weather of Arizona. A pair of American League Central rivals set to battle in the Cactus League. The Indians and the Royals from Surprise Stadium. Welcome in Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and Monty's had a chance to do some Royals games, a couple of them already this week. What are your impressions?
Well, I like what I see, and I think the additions this team has made over the last couple of weeks give them a chance to win as well as develop. I think there's a great attitude right now getting ready to start the season.
Big boost to add Mike Moustakas, but in the center of it all, the big personality, the great catcher Salvador Perez. Back again, of course. So important to this team.
Well, without a doubt, he's probably the most difficult player to replace on a team. We saw it last year when he was injured, and you look at the numbers, really speak for themselves on what he's been able to do since 2013.
Well, as far as his season last year, even with injuries, career high in homers, career high in RBIs, and he'll be back behind the plate today to catch Nate Carnes. You saw Carnes on Tuesday night. What are your impressions?
Well, he was very crisp, Joe. He looked to me exactly like he did before he had his injury last year, and that's always a good sign when a guy's making his first appearance after a surgery.
No question about it. Looking forward to seeing Carnes back on the hill this afternoon. Sunday afternoon baseball, the Indians and the Royals, they'll meet 19 times during the season right now, getting ready for 2018.
I just picked up the cake for the baby shower.
You know she's having a boy, right?
Need to make a quick switch?
.71 degrees here in Surprise. Partially sunny, a little overcast. Nice and comfortable for the Indians and the Royals. Nate Carnes on the hill. You see the starts last season, Monty, and then interrupted by what seemed like a really simple injury. Wasn't even going to go on the DL, he thought, and then ends up missing the year.
Yeah, and he ends up having a thoracic outlet syndrome surgery, and I think if you look at that particular procedure, a lot of guys come back from it. There's really not a definitive timetable, but I think Nate is really probably as far ahead of the schedule as you can possibly be.
Pumps his first pitch in to Bradley Zimmer at 93 miles an hour, and we are underway. Zimmer to lead off. It's a split squad for the Indians, who overall in spring training if you like to keep track of these things. 9-6 and 2 ties for the Royals. 7-7-1. So we'll get some of the Indians regulars, including Zimmer and their starting catcher Roberto Perez, Yandy Diaz, Mike Napoli back with the Indians, Abraham Almonte, Melvin Upton Jr., the veteran, Brandon Barnes, Giovanni Urshela, and then batting ninth is Eric Gonzalez. So we missed some of the big names, the Francisco Lindors and such.
Yeah, probably a lot of these guys we're going to see during the course of the season in Indians uniforms, but their main squad has the luxury as the starters to stay back in Goodyear and play on their home field while these guys make the trip over to Surprise.
And there it is, strike 3, first K of the game for Nate Karns, starting off strong. Here's the defense behind him, some of the regulars out there and some names that maybe we'll see in the future. That guy, Alex Gordon, winning yet another Gold Glove. He's got some great defenders alongside of him with John Jay and Michael Saunders, both recently acquired. Cuthbert, Escobar, Lopez, and Drew Butera getting the nod at first base. Salvi behind the plate. And big 55, Nate Karns on the hill, facing number 55, Roberto Perez. Monty's throwing strikes early.
Yeah, and I like the way these guys primarily are pounding strike zones with fastballs, working on building up that pitch count, working on getting ready for the season. And then they get in situations where they have to dial it up a little bit, work in those breaking balls to get out of jams. You see it happen.
96 miles an hour.
Wasn't sure exactly what to expect from Nathan Karns today. We talked in the open. He had made his first outing against live pitching, or against game action anyway, on Tuesday night. So a lot of times, second time through, you don't know what, but he's looking sharp today.
And looking is Roberto Perez on the off-speed pitch, 86 miles an hour, 2 up, 2 down via the K.
Yeah, it looked like a little change-up, just worked it right in there perfectly.
Beautiful job by Karns, who is back, and really all offseason when we talked to him at FanFest, and he would say that, I feel great. I am ready to go. He has been chomping at the bit, and there's an awkward swing by Yandy Diaz, who hit a grand slam yesterday for the Indians in spring training. Cleveland last season, what a year they had until the playoffs, but 102 wins, best in the American League. And I think we all thought, Monty, that just like the Royals back-to-back, that falling a little bit short, and there's a hit down the line for Diaz. Saunders will cut it off to hold him to a single, but I think we all thought, okay, the Royals sort of laid the blueprint, fall just short in 14, win it in 15. Indians fall just short in 16, but reminded how humbling baseball can be against the Yankees.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think the Yankees surprised so many teams last year, particularly the Indians in the postseason, but that hangover that a lot of teams have after going to the World Series. The Indians really came out, and you felt like they were going to be a team that was going to maybe take it to the top of the mountain last year after coming so short the year before against the Cubs.
Well, here's a familiar face for Indians fans, Royals fans, and really anyone in baseball, certainly in the American League, where he spent the bulk of his career. Mike Napoli, who is back for his second stint with the Indians. He's a non-roster invitee, but you talk to anyone, Terry Francona on down in that organization, they will tell you what an integral part he was to that clubhouse a couple of years ago.
Well, guys like Mike Napoli are very difficult to find, and the fact that the Indians were able to bring him over to camp and let him get his work in here, do his thing, and potentially make this ball club, I think it speaks volumes for what he's done over his career.
It's been an interesting career, no doubt. He only hit 193 last year, but Angels, Rangers, Red Sox, Rangers, Indians, Rangers, and now back with the Indians, perhaps again this season. The manager today is Brad Mills. Tito Francona back in Goodyear with the other half of the split squad. That's too bad. We'll see him during the year, but that's Monty's old teammate.
Yeah, well, my first major league team, and condolences to Tito and his family losing his father.
So there you see Brad Mills, highly respected in the game of baseball, former manager, now the bench coach. It's a Cleveland organization that, I say the word respect, that really is respected by so many. We're fortunate enough to see them all year long, but the Royals will be gunning for the Indians. That ball up the middle, easy play for Nicky Lopez, and that'll do it. One hit allowed, but Nate Carnes looking good in the first with a couple of strikeouts. Alex Gordon and the Royals set to head to the plate in the bottom of the first. No score. Gordon set to head to the plate to lead things off for Ned Yost. It is Gordon followed by John Jay, Chesler Cuthbert at third, then Salvi. Collins is the DH, and Michael Saunders, Drew Butera, Alcides Escobar, and Nicky Lopez rounds it out. So a lot of center field types when you look at Saunders, Tyler Collins, John Jay. Pretty typical, as Ryan Merritt on the hill of the way. Dayton Moore likes to build that outfield with guys that can play all three spots.
Well, athleticism is a key word. I think if you're going to wear a Royals uniform, there's a good chance you have to be athletic.
Well, Giovanni Urshela is known for that glove at third base. Soft hit ball. That, though, easy for the smiling Urshela as the 26-year-old out of Columbia. He can flash that leather.
Yeah, he has the ability to play various positions, but they love him at third base. He's a guy that has tremendous range in the arm. He's just a defender that you can put him in there in any situation. You know he's going to deliver.
Urshela last season batted .224, but again, he can play some third. Bit of a logjam there as you see their lineup when you've got Jose Ramirez at third. We won't see him today. Jason Kipnis at second base. Of course, the superstar Francisco Lindor at short, and they just added to the mix new first baseman Yonder Alonso replacing Carlos Santana. As for the Royals, we get our first look here, at least today, at John Jay. And like Mike Napoli, a veteran and really a Royals type of guy. Well,
fortunately, you have the opportunity to bring in a guy like John Jay with his history, his track record, what he's able to deliver. Guy hit .296 last year. He's typically a 300 hitter over the course of his career, plays outstanding outfield, particularly center field. So very nice find for Dayton Moore and the Kansas City Royals.
And an important one, too. Jorge Bonifacio spoke to the media, issuing a statement, really, to paraphrase, apologizing to ownership, to the fans, to his teammates. 80-game suspension for PEDs as Jay goes down on the strikeout. And probably a lot of people saw the comments from Royals management that Bonifacio, good kid, highly liked by teammates and everyone else, and we could echo that from our end. So unfortunate, it's part of the game. It's never a good part of the game, but the Royals look like they have the pieces in place to be able to handle that 80 games. The unfortunate part is for Bonifacio, who really had that opportunity.
No doubt about it. He really delivered early in his career last year. Was looking for an opportunity this season. Unfortunately, he's going to have to wait till at least midseason for that to happen.
Chesler Cuthbert grounding out after one. We're scoreless from Surprise. brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Surprise Arizona and Surprise Stadium, ranked the best spring training facility in the Cactus League by USA Today. Beautiful day to be sitting out on the lawn or any of the seats here at Surprise Stadium. Spring break in full effect for so many. And if you've never had that chance, come on down. It is quite the place to be.
Had a chance to visit with some Royals fans earlier out in the ballpark, and they were amazed at this ballpark. First time to Surprise Stadium, first time to see Royal spring training. They're looking forward to a great time. I echo what you said, Joel. Great opportunity to come and see some baseball in an outstanding facility and tremendous weather.
Drew Butera has got a few games under his belt the last couple of years at first base, and he fielded that first pitch from Abraham Almonte, the switch hitter, grounding out to first, which brings up the veteran Melvin Upton Jr., who is DHing today, 33 years old now, second overall pick in 2002. So a couple of former Tampa Bay Rays, one in Nate Carnes, a Tampa Bay Ray. Melvin Upton, originally a Tampa Bay Devil Ray, now a non-roster invitee. Here's a guy, Monty. Tampa, Atlanta, San Diego, and Toronto, 1,469 big league games.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's ever played consistently at his full potential, whether it be injuries or lack of production. It's just he's never played at that level consistently for a whole year.
Third strikeout of the game for Nate Carnes, looking good once again. The 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, you got to like the location. He's able to really just kind of pinpoint his pitches wherever he wants, and those are seemingly mid-season form pitches from Nate Carnes, making a second outing of the spring.
Another veteran trying to make the team, Brandon Barnes, a non-roster invitee, spent the season last year in the minor leagues, AAA for Miami. That ball fouled just to the side of the visiting bullpen here. But for Brandon Barnes, only one hit so far this spring training. Former 6th-round pick of the Astros. Had a triple, and that is it. So he's trying to find a way into the mix, back to the big leagues. Not easy to do with a team like Cleveland.
Well, that's exactly the point, but every team, including Indians, Royals, it doesn't matter who you are, you're looking to add depth, and you never know what's going to happen. Just like we were talking earlier about the Bonifacio suspension, you have to have depth in order to fill those holes, those voids when a need arises.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and he misses. 2-1. Carnes will be a big piece for the Royals, a rotation that really believes and knows it needs to be better than last year. Easy hop for Escobar, and he gets it. 1, 2, 3. Salvador Perez coming up in the bottom of the second.
Bottom of the second, no score on a beautiful day. Not too hot, a little bit of a breeze, and we see the two Perez's there, the two catching Perez's. Salvador Perez for the Royals, Roberto Perez for the Indians. Ryan Merritt, strike one. Seems like he's a guy that, at least in our minds, has the Royals number. He's got 3 big league wins, not a lot of opportunities yet, but 2 of them have come in his 2 starts against the Royals in the big leagues.
Yeah, and I remember going back to 2016, he came up and we asked the Indians broadcasters about him, said, well, he's probably not going to dazzle you, and that's really the book on him. He's a very consistent pitcher, solid across the board with his fastball, curveball, changeup, slider mix, but no dominant pitch. So he's not a guy that's going to go out and dominate. But he was dominant against the Royals in that particular game.
Ball handled with the good positioning there, and I misstated before, Giovanni Urshela, who can play second, short, or third, they can bounce him around. He's actually at second today, and Yandy Diaz is at third. So Urshela, kind of like Jose Ramirez in the sense that they really can move him around. Although I don't know too many players that are like Ramirez, an MVP candidate last year. Either way, it is a ground out for Salvi, as Ryan Merritt has retired the first 4.
Yeah, when you watch a pitcher like Merritt, he's not Jamie Moyer-like. He's got better stuff than Moyer, but he's a pitcher like Jamie Moyer. He's a guy that's going to understand what he needs to do, set up his various pitches, and get a strikeout when he needs it, but he's not going to overpower much.
Base hit by Tyler Collins right up the middle as Collins continues what has been a good spring. He was batting .304 coming in 23 at-bats, and the former Detroit Tiger at 27 years old really trying to find a way onto this roster, as is Michael Saunders, who's coming up, but so far so good from Collins.
Yeah, and I've talked about depth in various positions and various teams, but that's just one thing that Dayton Moore's done a nice job in protecting this organization with regards to bringing guys like Tyler Collins in. We mentioned Michael Saunders, the signing of John Jay. So now you have an abundance of outfielders to choose from. They're all very athletic.
First pitch strike for Merritt against the fellow lefty Michael Saunders. Big number 88. Think about Saunders, and we certainly saw him plenty with Toronto. He was an all-star 2 years ago, ended up with Philadelphia and then back with Toronto last season, hitting just .202. So he's looking to find some things, refine his way, but only 2 years removed from being an all-star. And I like Monty talking to him this morning that what impressed him the most in this clubhouse was just the culture. He said it's an old school way that you don't see too much in baseball anymore.
Yeah, and I think players who've been around a little bit, he's been with 3 teams in his career, they understand when they go to a place, it's something that really almost stands out. It's something that you can't help but noticing, and that's a good thing when you have established and developed that culture that the organization has had in place now for a number of years.
Saunders, a former college teammate of Lorenzo Cain's. They were teammates at Tallahassee Community College. And the big 6'4" outfielder who can play all 3 spots. First career hit against Cliff Lee, first career homer against Irvin Santana. Swing and the miss as Saunders will go down. Been hitting .333 coming into this game, so it's been a good camp so far, 7 games in for Saunders. And once again, Merritt continues to, as we saw those couple regular season games, to confuse hitters a bit.
Yeah, a guy who doesn't overpower, has the ability to locate his pitches. He can be just as effective. It doesn't read 97 on the gun, but the results are the same.
Here is the first baseman, Drew Butera. And we know the value that Drew has to this organization. Now his 4th season with the Royals. They had acquired him during the season a few years back, and now here he is, a mainstay as the backup to Salvi. And there's Drew, deep to right field, but not deep enough, as that one handled by Barnes. And there's a look at new first base coach Mitch Meyer, the former outfielder. We'll visit with him next.
There's a rhythm.
us for our 50th opening day on Thursday, March 29th, as the Royals host the White Sox. Tickets are available, including limited lower, upper, and outfield locations. To learn more, visit Royals.com/OD. We get set to begin the top of the third, which gives us a chance to visit on camera with the new first base coach of the Kansas City Royals, Mitch Meyer. Hi, buddy. What's going on? Just chomping the gum. I could hear it from up here. All right, Mitch. No, you're good. You can keep it in.
No. I can't do that.
I just, every time I talk to you about being a coach, I sit there and think, man, I'm getting old. I used to cover this guy, and now he's a dad and a husband and a coach and a big league coach. How's it going?
Things are good. Yeah, I'm enjoying spring, enjoing the group of guys working their tails off, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
You do know that you're replacing what many would believe, and a nice catch there by Alcides Escobar for out number one. You're replacing a legend, but your mentor too, and your former coach in Rusty Kuntz.
Yeah, absolutely. I spent a lot of days on the bench learning a lot from Rusty, and then obviously I was in a very lucky situation to spend as much time with him as a player, and then to get this opportunity coaching wise underneath him to just learn and pick his brain, and like I said, get to see it how he did it when I was a player, and how he's done it the last few years underneath him has been, like I said, I know I'm truly very fortunate for that.
Mitch, if you look at this roster, it's evolved a little bit since camp opened up, but it's got to be really nice as far as everyone's attitude going into things, looking at the new personnel available for this roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, we went out and got Moose back, got Duda, so those are two big pickups. John Jay, another left-handed bat. So, we're looking good, and guys are for the most part healthy and getting ready for the season. So yeah, we're in a good spot, and like I said, I'm excited for the season to start.
And you really have a lot of ingredients to work with regards to particular outfield. As everybody seems to be very athletic, they can play various positions, so that's got to be a bonus or a luxury for you and the rest of the staff to work with.
Yeah, being able to put the best combination out there nightly, whether it's Gordo goes to center, John Jay's in center, John Jay's in left, right, Soler if he's DH or he's right, left. That's big. Paulo Orlando can play all three, as we've seen. So that's a big plus for us. And like I said, it helps us match up better and make sure we're putting the best defensive and offensive group out there nightly.
Let's talk a little bit about your role. I know very similar to Rusty's, and you talked about his influence, but base running, outfield coach, and not just being the first base coach. So tell me how that's been going, working with these guys, and how much did you take from Rusty? How much is just from your own playing experiences?
It's a combination of both. Obviously, my time playing, I tried to pick up on a lot of things, and then through Rusty, kind of fine-tuning those ideas and thoughts, and making sure that I can present them and get them across to the players appropriately. But yeah, things have been great. We're really focusing on our turns this spring, trying to cut down the distance on our turns, and like I said, the guys have been doing a great job, and that's all we can ask for to get ready to play for the season.
And a lot of the talk around camp is just the fundamentals. It's a bit of a younger team, and guys really hungry to try to make the squad, but what have you seen in terms of just the aggressiveness, the fundamentals, the base running, and maybe not taking things for granted?
Yeah, well, that's and the way we're looking at it is obviously we're very fundamentally sound. If we can be a very good fundamentally sound defensive team, fundamentals as far as getting runners over, getting runners in, running the bases the right way, taking that extra base when it's given to you, finding multiple ways to win games, and being more of a dynamic team, which we had a lot of back in 14-15 going to the World Series, whether it was Dyson, Kane stealing a base, you had Moose, Haas, guys, they would hit home runs. And I said, so just getting back to that to where we're defensively sound, good on the fundamentals. We have multiple ways to beat teams on a nightly basis. And like I said, that's really been the focus to where, like I said, we're fine-tuning those little things to where we help ourselves win when those opportunities come.
And Mitch, you had a chance to really kind of work into the mix last year, but some turnover in the coaching staff with bringing in new guys in the bullpen, on the bench, switching guys around. How has that transition been for you and the rest of the staff?
Oh, it's been good. It's been good, and I think the fact that everyone that's here has been in this organization, from Cal to obviously myself, Terry Bradshaw, Vance Wilson in the bullpen. So along with Dale, Ned, Pedro, and Jersh that were already here. So we already had a lot of familiarity with each other, to where it just, like I said, that right there in itself allows for us to
Look at that.
There we go.
That's Mitch Meyer's outfielder, Michael Saunders out there. Why don't you assess that one for us?
That'll make me smile. That'll make me smile. It was a good play. Good hands, came in. Like I said, knew he couldn't catch it, picked it, and then was able to, get the force out on that shallow liner to right. So great play, good hands by Eske, good pick. So yeah, all around.
And you guys work on that little deke that Saunders had to make sure that the base runner didn't get too big of a lead. Looked like a little decoy you had going.
Yeah. Not necessarily. It's just it was kind of one of those plays where that's a tough read for the base runner as well, because you get a short hop like that, and you got to kind of be in limbo there either way. You take one false step the wrong way thinking you caught it, you're in trouble like you just saw. So we're not necessarily teaching the deke, but guys, some guys feel comfortable with that, trying to slow a base runner up on his read. So, but yeah, it was a great job by Michael, and like I said, we'll take that out.
Now here's Michael chasing after that one, and that'll give us a chance for one more question. Perhaps with Mitch, I was joking with you about, me feeling old. What about for you? I remember a couple of years ago when you started training in spring training, mentoring with Rusty and learning from him, and you'd be out there working, and the guys were all over you. The ones that played with you, Alex Gordon, Lou
right.
Coach, Coach Mitch. Yeah. There aren't too many of them left, though, right?
Yeah, there's probably 5 of them. I think I was looking at there. Someone was talking to me about it. Salvi, Eske, Moose is back, Gordo's still here, Duffy, Herrera, Herrera. So there's 6 right there that are still here. But then when you threw in Haas and some of the other guys, there were quite a few. Almost half the team. Dyson per se, those guys, there was half the team that guys had played with 3 years earlier. So but yeah, no, it's been good, and like I said, we obviously still have a good relationship with other guys I played with, and but now, yeah, it's my job to continue to help them like Rusty was, and make sure we can put them in the best position to win every night.
You're not calling anyone player, are you?
No, just Rusty.
That's Rusty.
Right. Hey, I can't take that.
Nobody can take that.
No, I've learned enough from Rusty. I'm going to let him have that one, and I'll come up with my own lingo.
There is a smash to deep center field, a home run for Roberto Perez. No room for John Jay to operate on that one. 2-0 Indians on top. And so Carnes has looked good, but gives up that home run. So, Mitch, as we wind things down right now, what are you looking for in these final couple of weeks from your crew?
Number one, we need to stay healthy. We need to keep pushing, making sure, like I said, now that guys are getting their timing down, their arms are in shape, their legs are underneath them. A lot of the last few weeks is just making sure we're on the same page as far as our signs and what's expected, from Jersh to myself from the bench, and make sure everyone's on the same page. The outfielders know the signs. They know how to move. They know what's expected. And like I said, just fine-tuning those little things so that when we get ready day one, everyone's on the same page going into the season. There's no confusion, hopefully. And like I said, we put our best foot forward and put ourselves in the best position to succeed and get out the gate good.
Well, congratulations on the new gig. I know that we saw you out there for September last season, but it's going to be fun to have you out here for a full year, like the good old days, but now as a coach at first. So looking forward to it, Mitch. Thanks for the visit.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mitch.
All right.
First base coach Mitch Meyer. He's one of those guys, Monty, I know you had a lot of teammates like that you knew when he was playing that he was coaching material.
Yeah, very easy to see who those guys are early in their careers. Oftentimes it's guys who are not your most celebrated players, but guys who understand the game, have had to work hard in order to be successful, get to the big leagues, and they learn so much, then they can take it with them into their next phase of their baseball career as a coach.
Diaz goes down, called third strike, so 2 runs on the Perez shot. 2-0 Indians on top. third pitching change for the Indians. The new pitcher on the hill, lefty Sean Moramondo, 25-year-old, who is a former 19th round pick of the Indians back in 2011. Made his debut just 2 games in 2016. That's all he has. He will face Alcides Escobar. Monty, good to see some familiar faces, and we'll see Mike Moustakas back in the mix soon, as he just re-signed. And it's hard to imagine anyone else playing shortstop than Alcides Escobar when you look at a guy that has started 162 games at short 3 of the last 4 seasons.
Well, we didn't really know what was going to happen with Alcides Escobar, like a lot of the guys who are potential free agents, where they were going to end up, how many years they were going to get. And when Alcides Escobar talked last year, I remember he said, I'm a Royal, I want to continue to be a Royal. He did have to go through this stretch where he was a free agent for a while, but the Royals able to bring him back on a contract similar to the others, club-friendly, 1-year deal. It just made sense for everybody. It allows other players to kind of develop at their own pace, and he's not going to block anyone from development, but he's going to give you a chance to win every night.
Alcides goes down on strikes, which brings to the plate Nicky Lopez. And when people around town have asked me this offseason, give me a name to look at for the future, and one of the first names I like to mention is Nicky Lopez. And you'll remember that we had him on Futures Night. Great kid, very well spoken, very mature. Played his college baseball at Creighton, Chicago kid. And when you start talking to people in the organization, they'll say this is a guy that is just a born leader. And probably ends up maybe starting somewhere on the AA level, I would guess, as he pops out. But he's someone that we're going to see in the mix, not too far off at second base, at shortstop, left-handed swinging. I was talking to someone the other day that said, I'm not trying to compare him to Francisco Lindor in terms of talent. That's hard to compare anyone to that. But in terms of leadership, in terms of that presence on the field, Nicky Lopez is a guy that stands out when he gets on the field. He's done so at really every level.
Yeah, we had a chance to visit with Jamie Quirk about him, and just really they both had a lot of really good things to say about each other. But when you see him, and then he had the opportunity to go play in the fall league and just really had an outstanding number. So when you take it to the next level, that's the whole job when you're trying to get to this big league level. Find a way to be successful at every level you go to. Some guys find a way to make that happen. They rise to the occasion, and you don't have to do it overnight. You don't have to do it in one season. It's a process where you're given a number of years to get there, and let's hope that's going to be a big, bright future. But everybody talks very, very highly of Nicky.
Yeah, he opened up eyes for sure in the Arizona Fall League. Alex Gordon grounded out in the first inning, so his second at bat. And Gordo will take ball 2, 2-2 count. Tough season for Alex. He's had a couple rough ones in a row. If you're looking for a bright spot to go along with his 5th Gold Glove, ended up hitting 4 of his 9 homers. He strikes out there in the month of September, but goes down. Royals looking for their first runs of the game, trailing 2-0 after 3.
She wanted hand
Too busy for 81 Royals home games? Build your own 10-game ticket package with special discounts from single-game pricing. Visit Royals.com/10pack for details. New pitcher for the Royals, left-hander Richard Lovelady. See the numbers at Double-A. They were even more spectacular at Single-A. I think first and foremost, Monty, for people that don't get a chance to see the stats or haven't seen him pitch in the minor leagues, we don't get a chance to see all of that, at least the performance. The name kind of stands out. Everybody has gravitated towards, man, we got a pitcher named Lovelady.
Well, I remember when he was drafted, his name stood out the very first day that we saw his name on the board. So he's a guy that everyone on the staff in the minor leagues just raves about and likes the numbers. So, I mean, what he's been able to do in his short career, very impressive.
The 22-year-old left-hander drafted in the 10th round of the 2016 draft. And for Richard Lovelady, start to look at the numbers. Showed you Northwest Arkansas. So that was 36 strikeouts to 13 walks. That's a 3-1, just about. You'll take that for sure. He's behind in this count, 2-0. Then you look at what he did with your buddy Jamie Quirk in Wilmington last year. 41 strikeouts and 4 walks. And in his 2-year professional career, 107 strikeouts to 26 walks. He's going to get the 2-0 fly, the pop to John Jay in center, easy for the veteran. Those numbers will play at any level.
Oh, no doubt about it. I think when you have stuff, you have the ability to do that. And just looking at his delivery, he's got a little bit of a deception. He's got a kind of a herky type motion. He's not a real smooth guy, so I'm sure that is something that plays really to his favor with regards to getting guys out. But as a lefty, he's always going to be good against lefties, and I think finding that off pitch to maybe be more successful against righties, that'll be the key for him. But sometimes the manager's just looking for a guy to come in and get out the lefties.
Lovelady, 6 foot, 180 pounds, was the Wilmington Pitcher of the Year last season. So we saw him at Kauffman Stadium on Futures Night, along with Nicky Lopez and the others at every level that were honored. So split the year between Wilmington and Northwest Arkansas. In 2016, gets the awkward swing there for a strike. Began his professional career here in Surprise. 8 games, was 2-0 with a 1.74 ERA, 14 strikeouts and 2 walks. Then he goes to Idaho Falls, 1.84 ERA. So this will be his 3rd pro season, as they had drafted him out of college, attending East Georgia College and then Kennesaw State University.
And when you watch his delivery, you can see he's got that very fast arm. His left arm goes behind his body, then right back out in front, and he's able to get that tilt on the delivery.
82 miles an hour on that one. So got to be tough on those hitters, the deception.
Yeah, and that's part of it. I mean, you have to deceive hitters, whether it be with the various pitch or with it be something with the way you put your glove out in front of you, whatever it is it takes to deceive hitters. That's what it's all about as a pitcher. And it's great when you have the textbook mechanics, but oftentimes those are mechanics that hitters really like because they can pick up the ball much easier.
When I see players, pitchers, players that are making it to professional ball, and you see it, you know, they attended Kennesaw State University, or maybe a school that's not as well known throughout the country. It's just a reminder of the amount of work that the scouts all over the country put in.
Yeah, it's a testament to the guys who are out under those water towers in the little towns watching the amateur baseball and then going to watch the college baseball and finding those diamonds in the rough. And oftentimes just maybe one game that a player performs and a scout may see something there that says, hey, this guy has the ability to someday play at the major league level. It may be a particular pitch. It may be something he does with the glove or on the base paths or whatever it might be. But those scouts that are able to find the real diamonds in the rough, those are the ones who are the all-stars, the ones that make a difference in the organizations. It's easy to recruit and scout the guys who are going to become the future stars in the game. But the ones who find the really hidden gems, those are the key.
First big league camp for the left-hander Lovelady, who made his spring training debut, his Cactus League debut on Thursday in Glendale. 2 strikeouts in a scoreless inning. So now he's got the walk as he faces Melvin Upton Jr. Going to get a little bit of a test here facing all righties. As Almonte, the switch hitter. Great play on the catch by Nicky Lopez over the shoulder, and immediately the instincts looking to first to turn a double play that wasn't there. Great job by the second baseman.
Looks like he took a little page out of Alcides Escobar's book as far as going back and making almost that football type catch.
2 outs now for Lovelady. Do you remember the scout that found you at Marshall?
I do. In fact, he was at a game watching a player on another team, and I particularly had a good day. And next thing you know, he's inviting me to a tryout camp in Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. And a week later, I'm drafted by the Reds. And
it was that last minute.
Yeah, it was that last minute. I had a terrible season my junior year, which I got drafted out of. But that's why I talk about the guys who are able to recognize. When I was drafted, he said, the thing I saw from you that particular day was you had a slider that I thought would play at the major league level. And that's why he put my name in on the list.
Something happened today that hasn't happened in all of the years of you and I working together. Your alma mater is going to the big dance and mine is not.
That's a good thing for me.
Yeah, congrats. Wisconsin is not. That's all right. I'd rather talk about Marshall at this point. Congrats.
We'll see how the Thundering Herd does.
I'm rooting for him. I don't know anything about their basketball team.
I don't either.
I didn't think you did. but we'll pull for him.
Exactly. Gives me a good reason to watch the tournament now.
Makes it sound like I knew all of that. Our bracketologist, Steve Kurtenbach, just told me that Marshall is tournament bound. So for all you Thundering Herd fans out there.
Well, Sammy Abramson texted me this morning and let me know.
Another member of our crew. I guess he's not here.
No.
He's a world traveler.
Worked the Olympics. He's big time.
That's what he said. 2-1 count on Brandon Barnes for Lovelady. Fouled off 2-2. But it is amazing. You do whatever you can to get noticed, and sometimes it's a matter of timing, and you go on to be the all-time saves leader of an organization.
Look for opportunities, and that's why so many guys in uniforms during spring training camp, you never know what's going to happen. They may impress somebody by doing something that someone else has never done or they've never seen happen, and they stand out.
No one that makes it to the big leagues ever forgets the name of their scout, though, right?
I wouldn't think so. As Marty Daly was a guy who was watching that game. He was pitching for Marshall against the University of Kentucky, and he happened to be there watching a player for the University of Kentucky.
The scouts do so much. We see them every day out here and throughout the season. Long hours, lots of travel. I don't know if Art Stewart is watching back home in Wisconsin as he continues hopefully to get better with his health. We missed him so much out at the ballpark. There's no one that I enjoy seeing out here at spring training more than the legendary Art Stewart. His stories. Testing Salvi, and the throw just gets him. That's the Salvador Perez we know as he is able to throw out Almonte. 2-0 Indians lead the Royals.
Your friend orders a Friday sirloin steak and big rib.
just one hit, but we saw a familiar sight to end last inning.
Yeah, Richard Lovelady does a nice job giving Sal a good pitch to hand. It wasn't a great throw, but he had enough time based on the time home from Lovelady to still get the out at second.
I wasn't sure if he was going to get him with that throw wide, but there to apply the tag. Nicky Lopez out of the inning, and so nice job by Richard Lovelady, who gives up just the walk. And we start the bottom of the fourth. Had the chance to meet John Jay this morning and wanted to ask him. I'd heard that he is an avid shoe collector. Does that remind you of someone?
Jeremy Guthrie.
Yeah.
Is it like athletic shoes? Or?
Yeah, yeah. And so I figured, you know, guys are usually, that ball lofted out to left field and handled by Almonte. You know, usually you ask a guy who's better at this, and there's a lot of pride and competitiveness, so I expected him. I said, well, I'm sure you know about Jeremy Guthrie's shoe collection. He said, oh yeah. I said, whose is bigger, whose is better? And I figured he'd say me, and he said, no, it's Guthrie.
That's no surprise to me.
We've seen that. John Jay's going to fit in really well here. Clubhouse leader. Good for the culture. You know, there's a reason why the Cubs went out and really wanted him to be a part of their mix last year after playing one season with San Diego. So now Cheslor Cuthbert comes up, and interesting for Cheslor, you know, he looked like he was going to be the everyday third baseman. Then Moustakas signs, and for the Royals, they really wanted to get Cuthbert, Bonifacio, Jorge Soler more at bats this year. Maybe now the suspension to Bonifacio opens up a little bit of a door in one way or another for Cheslor Cuthbert, who sends that ball right out to Almonte, 2 out. But with the ability to DH, maybe Soler goes to the outfield more. Should open up at least an opportunity for Chess.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a puzzle as far as Ned Yost and his staff to get those at-bats for all those guys. They certainly have to do it. It's going to be part of the process on development and finding out really what they can do. And in fairness to Cheslor Cuthbert, last year was pretty tough for him, just playing on a very irregular basis, coming in off the bench. You want to get him consistent at bats. That's how you really are able to evaluate what is going to be long term.
He's never really done that before. He's a guy that's just always played, and he couldn't get those at bats last year. Salvi Perez now to face Moramondo.
And it's always a difficult decision on development versus trying to win. And I think what the Royals are really in a mode of right now is both. They want to try to give guys at bats, try to find out what they can do, but they also have the ability to win based on the personnel changes they've made. I think if you look at the Central Division, the Indians obviously the clear choice on the favorite, but you got 4 teams in there that are going to be playing 19 games against each other during the course of the season, so you've got an opportunity to win games as well.
Salvi the ground ball, and that will get the best of the third baseman Diaz, and so Salvi on base. They'll call that an error, E5. So Salvi on. Tyler Collins will come to the plate, and he has the Royals' lone hit on the day.
Wasn't sure they maybe wouldn't run somebody out to pinch run for Salvador Perez, but now at this stage of spring training, maybe going to stretch guys out a little bit more, get them into that 5th and 6th inning of the game.
Tyler Collins spent quite a bit of his career up and down AAA, big leagues. But you talk to anyone, I don't know if you had a chance to meet Tyler yet. I have not. I think Ryan Lefevre was telling me that he met him this morning. Couldn't have been a better guy, and really kind of fits again. Michael Saunders, John Jay, Lucas Duda, all guys with good clubhouse reputations.
Understanding what it takes to fit in, be part of a culture that's expected with regards to the way of doing things in Royal Blue. And I think that's one thing that Dayton's done a nice job, bringing in guys that fit that mold.
Collins with the easy ground ball to second. That'll end it. 2-0. Richard Lovelady pitched last inning. We'll visit with the left-hander next.
What's the total car
trail 2-0. Quality family time just got a lot easier with the Sunday Value Pack. Enjoy 12 Sunday games, including Family Fun Day Sunday activities for just $108 per seat. Visit Royals.com/Sunday Pack for details. From lefty to lefty, Eric Skoglund, who we got to know last year at the big league level. You see his AAA numbers. Skoglund in, the last lefty out. Richard Lovelady, second Cactus League appearance and first Fox Sports Kansas City interview. We welcome in now to the broadcast the 22-year-old left-hander Richard Lovelady. Richard, I had a chance to talk with you in the clubhouse this morning, but now a chance to talk to everybody back in Kansas City. How's this experience been for you so far?
Oh, man, it's been good. It's been really good. You know, had to battle a little bit of command today, but, you know, that goes part with it. So, but besides that, felt good, and, you know, it's good to get out there again.
Richard, got to feel good to have all these guys in camp that, one, you've seen play before, some of these guys you've played with in the minor leagues, and just got to feel good to have the opportunity to learn against and with some of these guys at the big league camp level.
Yeah, and of course, like, you know, the guys I've played with, like Miggy Lopez, you know, those are guys that are, you know, big-time prospects that I know they can always have my back, and it's good knowing I can turn around and see who's there. And these guys that I'm having to play with, like I just got the first time to play catch with Salvador Perez, man, I love it, him behind the dish. I mean, obviously you saw him, I gave him enough time to throw a guy out, and he sure enough did it. So it's good to get exposure from all these other guys and see how they take their ways about going through spring training to prepare themselves for the season. You know, I can take some things from it and go into my season as well.
Well, we've seen Salvi pretty much every day of his career.
Right.
And I think you probably would have been about 15 years old when he made his debut. He threw out 2 Tampa Bay Rays in that game, or picked off 1 at third, 1 at first, caught like a million pop-ups and almost got a guy at second. So he's still doing what he's doing. You know, I was asking you this morning what it's like to be in that clubhouse now, in the big league clubhouse for the first time.
Right.
Tell us about that, and has that become more normal? Is there any shock factor still?
You know, before even being drafted, you just think of, man, how amazing it would be just to hang around these guys. And then when you get drafted and you get the opportunity to be in big league camp and be around these guys, it's you know, it's almost like a normal thing. You don't have these butterflies or jitters about it. Obviously, you know, these are your teammates. These are guys that are going to play with you every single day. You know, it's good to hang around them and you know, look back and obviously look forward and know that, hey, I'm going to be playing with these guys someday. And it's become natural in a way, coming to the clubhouse every day, because, you know, at first you kind of get a little scared, a little shy, a little bit around people. You don't know what to do or say, or what to do things in the right way or the wrong way. And
somebody's messing with you.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just an unbelievable, man, experience, man. I enjoy, and I can't thank the Royals enough for the opportunity.
Richard, I know you're from Georgia. Growing up in the middle of Braves country, I've read that you are a Yankees fan. How did that happen?
That happened because I had a couple of favorite players growing up. It was Derek Jeter and Andrew Miller were my favorite guys to watch, and Jabba Chamberlain as well. Those were guys that I used to watch, and I just enjoyed every single outing they went out and played, how they went about the game.
Well, some pretty good names you mentioned, especially Jeter, what he was able to do, and I'm sure as a kid you had a chance to watch him play a lot of baseball games and maybe even video games of him. But that's great when you have the opportunity now to wear a big league uniform and be out and doing exactly what you dreamed of doing.
Exactly.
Nobody ever asks you about the last name, right?
I wouldn't say nobody. I'm sure I've heard it a lot. I've heard everything from anything you can think of. I've heard it with the name. So
hey, you know what, when the stats stand out, and they have so far in your 2 professional years, they can call you whatever. It doesn't make a difference. So we were talking before when you were out there on the mound, the strikeout to walk ratio has been off the charts your whole career. What's the origin of that? Is that something you've always been? When did you figure that out?
Man, it was so. This goes all the way back to when I was playing at junior college. I mean, my dad's harped on this every single time. It was no free passes, no free passes. Whatever happens, don't give anybody free. And it was, it's always stuck with me because, if you make a guy put a ball in play, you got 8 other guys behind you and obviously the catcher in front of you who can do something and get a guy out. So if you give yourself the opportunity to let them put the ball in play, then, let them go for it, let them field it, if it happens to get through, I mean, it gets through. But, obviously I had to walk there. I know my dad's in the stands screaming at the top of his lungs about it. But, that's going to happen. And I've tried to harp on it a lot because, I used to have a lot of walks back when I was in junior college growing up and coming up before I got drafted. And it was the one thing I knew I needed to clean up my game to give myself the opportunity to get a lot of outings.
Well, Richard, that's one thing that will play out any level you play. Walks will not be your friend, especially at the big league level.
Exactly, because they eventually come around to score. I mean, that's the old saying, and they always do,
Yeah, I know easier said than done, but the numbers so far, Surprise, Idaho Falls, Wilmington, and Northwest Arkansas have definitely shown that has been important to you. I mean, man, 14 strikeouts and 2 walks when you made your pro debut here in Surprise back in 2016, and then the 41 strikeouts and 4 walks with our buddy Jamie Quirk in Wilmington last year. We're 2 outs, so Monty, you might get cut short, but I told Richard he'd be visiting with the Royals all-time saves leader. How about some advice, Monty, for the young lefty?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just every level you go to, find a way to refine your game and just get a little bit better. It's like climbing a ladder, one step at a time. You don't have to do it overnight, but just get a little better along the way, and you'll be amazed at how far that will take you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we are looking forward to continuing to follow your progress. Tell your dad it was 1 walk today, but Salvi took care of the rest. And Monty pointed out too that happens. I mean, the throw was a little bit wide with the quick delivery home too. So team effort there. We're excited to watch your career and see you up here in the big league level soon.
Thank you, guys. And I appreciate you guys having me here to be able to talk today.
Thanks for joining us.
Richard Lovelady, keep that name in mind, and we are excited to see him with the Royals. Fun to catch up with the kids and get that first glimpse of them before hopefully one day they make it here and contribute. And he's not that far off.
No, he's not. And that's the thing. I mean, just every time we have someone on and get a chance to meet them in the clubhouse that's going through it for the first time in big league camp, it brings back so many memories for me. And you think you're in such awe of everybody, but you're now in uniform. You're now a guy that's expected to go out and perform and be part of winning and be part of an organization. And sometimes it takes it takes some more time than others to figure that out and to become themselves, allow themselves to be successful. But it sounds like he's got a real good idea what it's going to take.
I had to ask about the name because everybody mentions it. I'm glad he didn't share what all of the names that he's been called might be, but I'm just trying to envision our colleague HUD when Richard Lovelady is on the mound and the inning ends with a Lovelady strikeout. What's he going to do?
That's a good question. I'm anxious to hear.
Love it from Lovelady. Lovely Lovelady.
Love it.
Right? I don't know if HUD's watching today. Give you a shout out if he is. He might not even know we're on. Pop up to Eski. Keep Perez in the park this time, 3-0. Beautiful day to sit out on the lawn here at Surprise Stadium. 3-0 Indians on top of the Royals. As Michael Saunders steps in, he struck out his first at bat, but made a very nice play earlier in the game, keeping the ball in front of him and throwing out the runner at second.
Yeah, always nice when you can make that play when you have your outfield coach on the air with us.
And that was back in the 3rd inning. Bradley Zimmer had hit one out to him and didn't try to make the diving catch, just kept it in front, picked it. Eric Gonzalez had to hold up, and he ended up throwing him out at second. 3 runs allowed by the Royals so far in this one. A 2-run home run by Roberto Perez. That came right after that Saunders play. And then last inning, a Brandon Bards home run. And I think there's a theme here. It's spring training. I think we can get away with it. Pop up to third, handled in the sun. 1 out. When we have a guest on, we try to do it, if possible, when the Indians are batting. We really don't want to miss a potential big home run or offensive output by the Royals. But what it's now led to, if you're superstitious on these things, is that the Indians score every time we get a Royals guest on.
So if you're looking at numbers, we're batting 1,000 or zero.
Or 0. Who do we blame on that? Us?
Yeah, it's probably our fault.
Probably. Can't blame HUD on this one. Butera hit it fairly deep to center his first at bat. This one more shallow, handled easily by Zimmer. 2 up, 2 down. Did get a message from, our buddy Jack Weaver.
Yes.
See him out at the stadium all the time. Probably the most enthusiastic fan we know. Is his dad texted. They're both watching, but he wanted to say that he and Jack said, "Go Marshall."
Go Herd. I like it. That way go Jack. We'll see you at the ballpark. Hopefully we're going to be talking about some victories.
Jack loves the umpires. He might be the only one. I mean, we like the umpires, but you know what I mean. Eske line drive snagged at second base. That will do it for the inning. Big defensive play there. Royals still without a run. No walks, 4 strikeouts for Nate Carnes. Monty, what did you think?
I thought he looked very sharp, especially those first 2 innings. It was pinpoint. 3rd inning, maybe starting to get a little tired, and that's just part of spring training, working up that pitch count, getting to the point where you can get deeper and deeper into each game. That'll be part of Nate's job on the way. Not a lot of offense so far from the Royals.
Now just 1 hit so far on the game for the Royals. Tyler Collins with a single in the second. Salvador Perez reached via an error. And that is it so far. Roberto Perez with the 2-run shot. Brandon Barnes with the solo. Carnes was followed by Richard Lovelady, who pitched well. And now it is Eric Skoglund out for his second inning. And for Skoglund, the 25-year-old, making his 3rd spring training appearance of the season. Pitched against San Diego, a couple of innings a little less than a week ago, and got to see a little bit of Skoglund last year. Made his major league debut back at the end of May. Remember that one against Detroit? 6 1/3 scoreless innings, 1-0 opposite of, you remember?
Verlander.
Justin Verlander. That shot up the middle, base hit for Yandy Diaz. And what we will remember most about that was what had to have been the greatest hat tip of all time, at least of this generation. You know, Ned Yost said, soak it in. He walked off Kauffman Stadium, big crowd. And Ned must have said, hey, soak it all in, acknowledge the fans, and he took it to another level.
Probably wasn't a 360-degree hat tip, it was at least a 180.
He covered most of the sections.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if he hit the folks out by the fountains, but it was special. And then he kind of had what is the case with a lot of rookies, just the ups and downs of trying to find your way.
Yeah, trying to establish yourself as a guy that goes out, understanding what it takes, game in, game out, and it's just experience. And we've seen it with everyday players when you go through the process of bringing guys in and letting them get their at-bats, go through those struggles. I mean, Alcides Escobar comes to mind. How Alcides Escobar was allowed to go through struggles to improve himself offensively, become a player that's going to know what you're going to get from Alcides Escobar. And I think that's just pitchers. Oftentimes it's more obvious because they're the ones that are initiating the action with every pitch, and they're the ones that have the line score, the runs against, and how many innings they pitch. But I think every player goes through it, and Eric Skoglund, a really good example of just how quickly things can change, because he had probably one of the best debuts for anyone we've seen for a long time in a Royals uniform. And in his next game, I'm not sure he even got out of the 2nd or 3rd inning. So it's just really interesting to watch how this progression occurs.
The overall numbers on Skoglund last year: 1-2 with a 9.50 for the Royals. Also pitched in Omaha and Northwest Arkansas. Mike Napoli is at the plate, grounded into a fielder's choice in the 1st, flew out to center in the 4th. So his 3rd plate appearance, and he's ahead in the count 3-1.
Joel, back to Eric Skoglund. I heard some comments he made this spring. He talked about the learning experience, what he took away from his opportunity to play last year, and to experience those ups and downs. And that's, again, just all part of the process. But when you learn from mistakes and you learn from your experiences, that makes you better.
There's the pop-up handled by the catcher, Drew Butera, just like being behind the plate, but without the flip of the mask.
Yeah. These tough skies in Arizona. A few clouds up there today, but normally a really difficult sky here.
We hear so much about that. Something that I know you guys were in Florida, but had you been in Arizona, something that you don't need to handle as a pitcher?
No.
How many pitchers catch a pop-up in a spring training game? There's only like 3 or 4 in the whole regular season.
Yeah, I think they, for the most part, make you stay away from those. I'm not sure why. His pitchers are, for the most part, pretty good athletes. Played a lot of positions when they were growing up, a lot of shortstop and outfield, but
the rest of those guys would say, no, you're not.
Non-athletes.
If you travel with Monty like I do, and you see the amount of running and elliptical and all the stuff the rest of us should be doing, I'd say he's still an athlete at 50-something years old.
56.
I know where you're at. You don't care about that, right?
No.
Some people you can't bring that up, but he's still a machine at 56. They do. You guys work on pitcher pop-ups in PFP in spring training?
Yeah, exactly. How to get out of the way of them.
So it doesn't really make sense to work on catching pop-ups if you're not really allowed to do it. Seems like a waste of time.
Well, in spring training, every day you have general theme that you work on, and oftentimes it's cutoffs and relays. It's pop-up priority, and pitchers always start out on the mound, and then when the ball goes up in the infield, they just want you to get out of the way. Whatever you got to do, get out of that area.
A lot of time waiting in line to go cover first base.
Yeah, we could be doing something much more productive, like playing around a golf or something.
Pitchers never do that during spring training. How much golf did you play during spring training?
It depended. If my family were in town, not as much, but when my children were in school and I was on my own, I had a chance to play a lot more frequently.
Especially the starters, though, right?
Yeah.
They know that they're, I guess even for a reliever, you know when your day is and when it's not. It's not like the season where you could be called on at any moment. I mean, we know right now we have a list that says Carnes, Skoglund, Broadway, Griffin, Lovelady, Sparkman, Vasquez, all as possible pitchers or extras for today. That means there's a long list of Jason Hamels or whoever that might be able to go golfing if they want.
Well, believe me, there are a lot of major league ball players, particularly pitchers, that are on the golf course somewhere here in Arizona.
Who are the best golfers? Like
David Howard was the best.
So that's a position player.
George Brett was right there. Wally Joyner.
Fly ball to left or left center. Everybody's covering their eyes. Give you an idea of the sun in the sky. Jay had his hand up. Gordon had his hand up. Gordon takes it for the second out of the inning. I think on last year's Royals, and you've had the chance to get out with some of these guys. I'm certainly not worthy. You are. Probably, what, Vargas 1, Moustakas 2?
Yeah, I know Vargy for sure.
Vargas 1.
Yeah.
And then to be determined.
I've not played with Moose yet. Looking forward to that.
I think he crushes it. I don't know if Vargas was at that, Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, John Smoltz level, but pretty good. Vargy with the signing with the New York Mets.
Vargy and Dave Island reunited.
Yeah, that doesn't happen by accident. Melvin Upton pops that one up. Gloves in the air. And Alcides Escobar handles it. Midway through the sixth, 3-0 Indians. To you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Shelter Insurance for your auto, home, and life. We're your shield, we're your shelter. Royals looking for some offense here in the bottom of the sixth. Weather not a problem. Beautiful day in Surprise. As a new pitcher for Brad Mills and the Indians, lefty Tyler Olson will take the hill. It is lefty day outside of Nate Carnes here at Surprise Stadium, Monty.
Yeah, and Olsen pitched in 30 games last year for the Indians, so he'll be a part of their mix.
We also have some other changes as Greg Allen will go to center field. Ryan Hannigan to catcher. Jose Nelson to left. I think that covers it. For now.
Use your pencil on your scorecard in Arizona spring training.
I feel like spring training you can do whatever. Cross guys out. Doesn't matter. 50th season of Royals baseball. Denny Matthews has every one of his scorecards.
They are masterpieces as well.
Masterpieces. Fizz has a really nice scorecard. Yours is pretty good.
Very average.
Mine is very detailed for the post-game show, but extremely messy. Impossible to read, right? For anyone but me.
It's a different language.
Yes.
I don't think it's shorthand, but it's something.
It's Goldberg.
Similar.
There's a base hit for Nicky Lopez. Have you ever asked HUD how many scorecards he's kept?
Does he keep score?
Sort of. You know how many scorecards he's kept?
None.
0. I tell people all the time, people wonder, is he really like, yes.
He's HUD.
He's HUD. It's about this time of year that Jennifer is just thrilled to pass him off to us.
Well, HUD texted me the other day and said that he's excited to get to spring training and anxious to get going with Royals baseball, so he'll be here shortly.
He didn't text me. He'll text me at random times, you know. And I hear the voice still. Even though you can't text in the voice, I hear it.
Very distinctive.
I hear HUD. Third plate appearance of the game for Alex Gordon. Grounded to third in the first, struck out in the third.
Joe, you were talking about Alex's numbers during his last at-bat toward the end of the season. I think that's something that really should be encouraging about Alex coming into the 2018 campaign. The fact that he ended on a good note and certainly looking to turn things around based on the way things went in 2016 and the majority of 2017. But he could make a huge difference in this lineup.
I brought him up before, and then I think the inning ended, but 4 of his 9 home runs last year came in September. His last 23 games of the season, he had an .894 OPS. In the end, the numbers, you know, they are what they are, and they weren't good. But if you're looking for something to build on, that was it. Ball out of play. Chasing it was Diaz.
When there's been talk about his acknowledgement of the change needing to be made as far as his swing mechanics, and he didn't realize that he had gotten to a point where he was crouching as much as he was. And I think Dale Swaim and Alex went into the video room and learned that, yes, he was in more of a crouched position than he was in when he was very productive as a hitter. And I think he is a little more upright now, and as a result, I think he's going to hopefully have a chance to get back to normal to where he is from his number standpoint.
Goes down on the strikeout there. Reminisce on 50 seasons of Royals baseball with the 50th season celebration pack. This package is loaded with gate giveaways, alumni appearances, and special celebrations at the K all season long. Visit Royals.com/celebrate for details. It's going to be a lot of fun. 50 seasons of Royals baseball. Which means a lot of, read it there in the promo, alumni appearances. You know that your old teammate Bo Jackson was here in camp over the last week. I think every player, I think Sam Mellinger wrote about this, every player knows, even the modern day, they know about Bo Jackson, but they don't know about him the way we did, whether it be you as the teammate, but you watched him on the football field, or the rest of us, the legend that he was, almost Michael Jordan type of status from a marketing standpoint. These kids have only seen YouTube videos.
Yeah, Bo was able to do certain things and special things on a nightly basis that not many people had the ability to do athletically, and I think everybody understands how great it would have been if Bo would have been a one sport athlete, regardless of what sport. But you talk to Denny Matthews, who we see here on the screen, who's done 50 years of Royals baseball coming into this year, and he will attest that not many people that he's witnessed have that type of ability. And I think it's going to be an outstanding year for Denny to call it his 50th.
It's so much fun to be around Denny. It really is. And for a baseball hockey guy like myself, I always know I'll get the chance to talk a little hockey with him. Last month, he and I and Ryan Lefevre and Jim Eisenreich had a chance to get out and skate over in Independence for about an hour and pretend to play hockey over where the Mavericks play. Denny's good.
I think Denny plays regularly.
He does. And Ryan's an athlete, so he could handle it. I'm just a hockey dad. Fly ball to center is handled by the new center fielder Allen for the second out. You ever skated?
A few times when I was in my teens.
You could do it. You're a natural.
We played hockey. There was a few times that we would have an opportunity on the frozen pond or lake. We would do it, and we would kind of improvise and make the sticks out of something, and
it's fun.
Yard tools, whatever it might be.
Pretty sure Chesler Cuthbert did not skate as a kid growing up. Corn Island, Nicaragua.
Very good chance.
Like 100% chance, I'm guessing. Son of a lobster fisherman. And one of the, how would you describe it? One of the more chill guys you could meet. There's not a lot there's not a lot that, at least in appearance, seems to bother Chesler.
Always has a smile on his face.
Always. And that's why, and I know these guys all support each other. When Moose signed, I mean, that potentially cuts into his playing time. Now another door opens with the Bonifacio suspension, so maybe we see a lot of Chesler DHing. He can move over to first against a lefty, and Lucas Duda maybe sits. But most importantly, you touched on it before, just a chance to try to get him regular at bats, because when you look at it, Monty, 2 years ago, he had a nice season when he was playing on a regular basis.
Well, and you can also, whether he DHs, you can also have Mike Moustakas DH occasionally. There are a lot of things you can do when you don't have that guy that's primarily your DH for the entire season. It could almost be a situation where you keep everybody fresh, everybody on their game as a result of having the opportunity.
Hit that one hard, but Yandy Diaz with the diving play. A couple of big plays to end the last 2 innings for the Indians.
I love my job.
3-0 Indians still lead the Royals, and we are at that point of the game in spring training where the regulars, for the most part, will be done for the day. So that means a lot of changes across the board. We'll tell you about all those in just a moment, including Hunter Dozier. Still stretch it out at first base. A former first-round pick who had an injury-plagued year last season, but he certainly is going to be in the mix. And, you know, so much of the talk when they signed Duda was that they're not looking at any of the signings that they've made, whether it be Duda, whether it be Moose, of blocking these prospects. Just gives them a little bit more time.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole key. Allow these players to kind of develop at a pace that you're comfortable with.
Now, one of the newest Royals. It's tough to keep track of who the newest is. That title seems to change by the day as spring training working itself out. But one of the newest Royals, but veteran outfielder John Jay, recently signing. I guess that was about a week ago, a little less than a week ago. John, welcome to Kansas City. Good to see you wearing royal blue after having seen you so many years on the other side of the state in the I-70 series, and I know stops in San Diego and Chicago. But congratulations on the deal, and we're really excited that you've joined the Royals. What are your initial impressions?
Oh, it's been great. You know, for me personally, it's fun to get out here and you know, be with the guys and play baseball again. And you know, everything's been great. You know, camp's been going great so far. You know, everyone's working, which I like to see. And like I said, I'm getting to know everyone every day, and every day has been getting better and better.
John, there's always a lot of talk about the culture that's been developed here over the recent past, you know, in the Royals organization. Is there anything that stands out to you when you walk in a clubhouse for the first time as far as how things are done around here?
Yeah, I love it. Like I said, you know, everything's up on the board. Everything is easy to read. The guys are communicating well. The coaching staff, everyone, you know, from the top to the bottom, from Dayton. So everything's been great. You know, everyone's been very welcoming to me. It's been a lot of fun so far.
And you're very versatile as far as where you can play. Do you have a preferred outfield position?
I think anyone that plays center field is going to tell you they love playing center field. I love being in command out there. But like you said, I've played all over my whole career, and you know, I just want to win. That's the bottom line. You know, I like to win, and you know, just you know, play the game.
Called strikeout there for Eric Skoglund as he begins his third inning. John, it's interesting just looking at all of the signings, and you've had the reputation, I've heard it for a number of years, of being the, you know, the leader type, good in the clubhouse, hard worker, and you start to look at the DNA of this team, whether it's the guys that have been here for a long time or the newer ones, and guys like Saunders and you coming in, and Tyler Collins and Lucas Duda, on, and you look at the profile, they're all good culture clubhouse guys. When did that start for you?
Well, first of all, thank you for all those compliments. But I think for me, it started in high school. You know, since I've been young, you know, like I said, I've always you know, gone along with everyone, and like I said, I just love the game. I love working. I love you know, every aspect of it. I love the fact that, you know, I'm entering my 9th season and I'm still learning every day. So that's the fun thing about baseball, and I love sharing the knowledge that I've been able to, you know, accumulate over the years. I've been very lucky to play with a lot of, you know, Hall of Fame type players, and you know, guys have had great careers and veterans before me, and you know, they taught me a lot, and that's what I hope to keep passing down.
Yeah, so now you want to pass that on. What is it like? I mean, you've been in a few different clubhouses now. Long time with the Cardinals, then Padres, the Cubs. There's a winning team that went out and said, we want to get John Jay. Now Dayton Moore does the same thing with you. And there's a mix here of veterans, but certainly a lot of younger players. How soon can you jump in and assume some of those leadership roles?
Oh, the biggest thing is, you know, you got to get guys respect. You know, it's about guys trusting you and respecting you, and you know, you're respecting them. So you know, it takes a little bit, but you know, every day, you know, I've been having some good conversations with some of the guys and stuff, and the coaches. So you know, every day it's a trust factor. You know, these guys got to trust me and you know, get to know me a little bit, and you know, we keep developing that bond over time.
John, you've had a chance to play, obviously, interleague play a number of years. How about switching over to a new league? Any kind of a particular challenge for you there?
You know, for me, it's baseball, you know, so obviously I'm very familiar with the National League and the pitchers and all that much, but you know, with video and all that, and you know, I'll be able to rely on, you know, Moose, especially him coming back. He knows the league well. You know, I've obviously Gordo's been around for a while, and Alcides, and you know, Salvi. So you know, I got plenty of guys in the coaching staff, so we'll be definitely communicating a lot about you know, the new pitchers and whatnot, but I'm looking forward to it.
We're certainly excited to have you out here. And, you know, you mentioned any center fielder will tell you that would be their preferred spot. Then you got a guy like Alex Gordon, 5-time Gold Glover in left, and he showed that he could play center last year. Orlando can do that. Certainly I mentioned Saunders, Collins. A lot of athletes, right? I mean, that there's a common thread there with the athleticism, and that's got to be fun for a guy like you to see that mix of players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've seen that more and more now, where there's a lot of teams that have 3 center fielder types out there, where covering all the ground, and it makes it a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to playing with Gordo and these guys out there. I've been watching him for years, doing what he does in the outfield. It's unbelievable, and obviously Paulo, the way he can run this, it's that's one of the things you can't teach, and so I'm looking forward to doing all this.
I asked you in the clubhouse this morning. I was reading up on you that you have a big shoe collection. Now, I mentioned that story before to my partner here, Jeff Montgomery, and he said shoes like dress shoes. I said, no, I think it like Nike type of stuff, or gym shoes, or athletic shoes. So I thought, because usually when you ask a guy who is a professional athlete, who's more this or that, you always say me. And so when I asked about Jeremy Guthrie, you immediately said, no, he's got me beat.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple guys out there that got me beat, but I like to consider that I have a nice little collection there. But it's something I've loved since I was kids. That's kind of my one little vice, that I love sneakers and just the way they come together and the history behind them and all that. So I'm a big sneaker enthusiast, I like to call it.
So how many would you guess?
I can't give you guys that number.
But it's
a lot.
It's triple digits, or maybe more.
No, I don't know about triple digits. Yeah, triple digits.
Triple,
yeah.
The hundreds.
I had to think. Yeah, hundreds. Yeah. That's a fair guess.
Right.
I'm very intrigued now. Is there one particular pair that you would say would be the one you'd put above all of the others?
So look at that grab there by Humberto Arteaga.
Some of them, they have special meaning to me. I mean, I remember I have a couple of the Deion Sanders, shoes now that I remember when I was a kid in elementary school, just, begging my mom to get them, and, having to wait months and months and months to get them. So there's some different shoes that bring up different things, parts of my life and whatnot. But so I got a couple of different favorite pairs.
Cool.
All right, well, Ned Yost is making a pitching change, so we will let you head to the clubhouse. John, we're looking forward to spending every day with you this summer.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
New Royal, John Jay, 3-0, Indians on top. Pitching change for Ned Yost and the Royals. Pitching, for the most part, has been very good today. Eric Skoglund comes out. And the new man on the mound is Michael Broadway. He's the 30-year-old, set to make his 3rd appearance of the spring. Had a scoreless outing on Wednesday against Milwaukee, non-roster invitee. You see his numbers last year.
Very impressive there. 102 strikeouts in 100 innings.
Wow. That is impressive. Should tell you about all the changes that were made. We do have 2 outs, but in case you're keeping score at home or just want to know, mention that Hunter Dozier is at first base. If we go by batting order, at least, Deweese in center, Gore in left. We've got Burns in right, Dozier at first, Arteaga at short, and Lopez replacing Lopez. Jack Lopez in at second for Nicky Lopez. Got all that?
Yeah, Salvador Perez is going to muscle it out and stay in there.
He's in for now. Maybe we'll see Cam Gallagher later.
Cam started yesterday.
Maybe not. How'd he look?
He looked good. Had a hit.
Good. Played some winter ball. There's the ground ball to second base, handled by the other Lopez, Jay Lopez, who replaced Ken Lopez.
At Wayside Furniture.
Get the exclusive Salvador Perez bobblehead with the purchase of any season ticket purchase. Visit Royals.com/STM for more details. More changes to talk about, including a new pitcher. It is Preston Claiborne, the first right-hander for the Indians on the day, and he will face Salvador Perez.
Yeah, Claiborne's a hard thrower. He's battled injuries throughout his career. But this guy has the ability to miss bats for sure.
Salvi on the day, grounded out to lead off the second, reached via an error at third base in the fourth, so his third at bat of the day. One. Claiborne was in the Texas organization last year. 3-1 with a 1.89, 16 saves in 38 innings for AAA before being called up. Ball to right center, backpedaling and catching it for the first out. And that play handled by the new right fielder, Trey Grant. Frank Schwindel will get his first plate appearance for the Royals. We had him on Futures Night last year, did we not?
Yes, we did.
Big kid from out east. Look at those numbers last year. Brian Polberg's Omaha Storm Chasers. So Schwindel now batting in Tyler Collins' spot. Hard hit ball, but right at the second baseman for the second out of the inning.
Royals only 2 hits on the day, but the last 2 balls have hit on the screws, but nothing to show for it.
We are at that point of the game where the scorecards are officially wrecked. Billy Burns gets his first plate appearance as he had replaced Michael Saunders in right. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. So at this point, the only Royal still in the game that started is Salvador Perez.
And I have a feeling with his last at bat, that may be the end of his day.
That might be. Just 2 hits on the day for the Royals, one from Nicky Lopez, the other from Tyler Collins. And you have predicted correctly. That is the look of a man that is packed up and ready to end his day.
Catchers are similar to pitchers where they have to work up innings. They have to get reps because they're toll and demand on their bodies more so than a position player who's going to be in the outfield or infield. They have to get their reps, and Salvador building up, getting ready for the season.
We don't talk about that as much, but it makes sense. Billy thought that he had drawn the walk there, but the home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney says not so fast. 3-2. Now the reason why Salvi is staying, along with perhaps wanting to watch his teammate Billy Burns, is that the clubhouse is not attached to the dugout. It's well beyond the left field wall. There's a hit up the middle, third knock of the day for the Royals, and the speedy Billy Burns is on, perhaps starting a 2-out rally. So Salvi will wait until this half inning is over because it's a fairly long walk down the left field line. He will exit the tunnel right behind the foul pole and just to the side of the Royals bullpen. And then just a few more steps over to the clubhouse. And the work is never over either, right? There's treatment. There's some guys go and actually work out.
Yeah, they may go to the weight room afterwards. Most pitchers will come in early in the day and get their workouts in. Position players oftentimes a little different. They may have to work out after the game.
Again, I think Billy thought about, he gets back in, thought about running. I don't know if he didn't like his jump, but took a couple of steps, stopped, and then almost caught in no man's land. The backup catcher, veteran Ryan Hannigan, throwing over, but not in time. I'd get back to my point about golf, right? If you can get your workouts in the morning, you can wrap up and hit the links.
Exactly. Priorities, right?
Just got to get the workout in. Hunter Dozier. Takes strike one. First plate appearance of the game for Hunter. And now, in front of a crowd of 5,590, the first Let's Go Royals chant begins. Small feel of Kauffman Stadium. With, you know, beautiful weather and palm trees and birds chirping and all that.
We'll trade the fountains this time of year for the weather.
Yes, we love the fountains. We love the weather. Can you believe that we are 2.5 weeks from opening day? Look at that, taking the bounce off of the mound and then the throw not handled. And everyone is safe. There's a shot. He ruled a base hit, and then the throw from the third baseman, Jones, not handled at first by Napoli.
Yeah, I think the ball went off Claiborne's ankle or somewhere, maybe
foot.
the bottom of his spike. Still had a chance to get him out, but not a good throw.
So the first time all day that the Royals have had 2 runners on base. First time they've had anyone in scoring position. And that brings to the plate Humberto Arteaga, 24 years old. He's been working his way towards the big leagues for a lot of years. He's one of those kids they signed at a young age and has been climbing the ranks.
Has a lot of tools. That's one thing that the organization likes about Arteaga, that is the tools he possesses.
He was hacking on that one. Take the game-tying homer. Or maybe just a base hit. Going the opposite way. That'll easily score Billy Burns. And going first to third is Dozier. Throw is there. Not in time. And the Royals finally are on the board 3-1 with the big hit by Arteaga.
Arteaga not trying to do too much, gets a pitch on the outside and just stays with the pitch really, and little oops to the right side for a base hit and an RBI.
So that brings to the plate the 9th place hitter, Jack Lopez, who replaced Nicky Lopez. No relation. Jack, a 16th round pick in 2011. Mostly playing last season at Northwest Arkansas. Had a few weeks with AAA Omaha. This will be his 7th professional season of baseball, all with the Royals. Idaho Falls, Kane County, back when the Royals low A affiliate was there, then on to Wilmington for 3 seasons, Northwest Arkansas in 2016, part of 2017, where he hit .281 last year, and then 18 games in Omaha. 16th round draft pick in 2011. So let's see what Jack Lopez can do here. 6 scoreless innings, and now finally the Royals able to break through in the 7th. It took just a righty getting in there, Monty.
Yeah, the Indians certainly used a lot of lefties early on in this game.
Lopez, ooh, that hit him or no? He caught a little bit of the bat.
Yeah, I think it cut the handle or knob of the bat.
So we stay at 1-2. Anyway, 2.5 weeks till opening day. There's nothing quite like it, and I think that that's the case everywhere around the country. We'd like to think that at Kauffman there's no place better to be. Royals will open up there, and then after that series head for more tropical climates like Cleveland and Detroit.
Yeah, we're going to have to pack our parkas early in the season, for sure.
Still got your Fox Sports parka?
I do.
Me too. It's ready to go.
Didn't have to use that much in the last year or so.
I think we go Detroit first and then Cleveland. No, other way. Cleveland and then Detroit.
We're going to be in Toronto, even though we're playing indoors in the month of April. We're in Boston, I believe, in the month of April. So we got a lot of chilly climates to open the first month of the year.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe 2 trips to Detroit in the month of April.
I think you're right.
Lopez. And the throw to first gets them. But the Royals on the board. Still trailing 3-1 after the base hit from Arteaga.
Waiting for...
Royals are on Fox Sports Kansas City tomorrow night as they take on the Texas Rangers from Surprise, Arizona. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Central. Hope everybody handled daylight savings time all right last night. We here in Arizona did nothing.
That was the easiest one of my career.
It wasn't mine. You want to know why?
I think I know.
No, well, I was up with the family in Sedona, little vacation, and the clock in the hotel room, it didn't know where it was located, or but there was something on it that changed. So it changed, and the clock didn't know that they don't change time. They don't do daylight savings in Arizona. So I lost the whole thing. I woke up at like 5-something this morning. It's all right.
That sounds like a rookie mistake.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. You'd think that in my 11th season of Royals baseball, I would not make rookie mistakes. A base hit to lead off the inning by Ryan Hannigan. But it is like you don't worry about anything out here. You just have to remember that now it's 2 hours behind Kansas City.
Yeah, just don't call anybody at home too late tonight.
Right. '50th season of Royals baseball is coming. There is the ground ball. Great play by, look at that, and the bare hand almost turning the double play. Slick fielding play by Arteaga, and Jack Lopez nearly turning a beauty.
I'm not sure which end of this was more impressive, the stab or the one-handed grab and throw. The ball was hit fairly hard. A lot of juice on the ball at the second base.
Cannon from Lopez, too. That'll play at any level. And now Mike Napoli gets his 4th at bat of the game, trying to get him going in just his 4th game of the spring. Only hit 193 last year. But, man, he still has that ability to hit the homer. 193 with 29 home runs.
Young, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that he is in camp essentially as a favor that the Indians have done for him to come and really kind of get playing time to essentially showcase his abilities.
Still a guy that can help someone. And again, and I think, you know, Hud could speak to this, having been with him with the Angels for a lot of years, but everywhere that Mike Napoli has gone, he's revered in the clubhouse.
Well, and teams have won. That's the common thread. And when you look at players like Napoli, any player that has been with a number of organizations and he gets called back and he's invited back numerous times to that organization he had been with before, that says a lot about that person.
Right, sometimes you think a guy that bounces from team to team to team to team, something's wrong. Either the performance isn't there, he's a guy that doesn't fit in the clubhouse, but the fact that the bouncing around for him has involved him coming back somewhere means that they missed him.
Right, and oftentimes it's just circumstantial. He may have been a significant contributor to a team that maybe wins a championship, but they've got a guy who they've been wanting to have the opportunity to break through to the major league level, have a chance to play in the major leagues, and they can't essentially block his progression. As a result, those players are expendable.
Mile-high pop-up handled by Ramon Torres. You could hear just a few of the gasps, perhaps knowing that pop-ups in the Cactus League could present challenges. But as Monty, as you mentioned before, a few clouds today, that helps.
A few clouds a day, and a lot of times there's some wind in this ballpark, especially blowing from the infield toward the outfield, usually to right, but today not as much wind.
Steve Kurtenbach cues the scenic shot. Glorious looking Surprise Stadium. Clouds in the background. How was the weather yesterday, Monty?
It was good early, and then I think some unexpected showers rolled in about the middle part of the game and existed throughout the evening.
We had the same roll through Sedona. Rare rain. I don't think anyone back home feels sorry for us.
I don't think so.
Monty immediately reaching with his right hand that hit the net. Why your right hand, not your left?
It was on my right side.
Okay. So you don't want to make a backhander. I just would have expected you to reach with your left in the same way that I'm just ducking. I learned early in my Royals career, when I saw Frank White ducking, that he, of all the Gold Gloves, if he's going to duck, I'm getting out of the way.
There is no reward for either catching or attempting to catch and not catching and dropping or breaking a bone.
The only glory that comes of it is if you make the perfect barehanded catch. If you have the glove, then you're supposed to make the catch. Parker Marin is the new catcher, as he was looking down towards first. Parker now spends his off seasons in the Kansas City area. I need to ask him about that. I think he does a lot of lessons with kids. Parker is a former star at the College of Southern Idaho and then University of Utah. Utah kid that has ended up living in Overland Park. Had a injury-plagued season last year. 18 games at Northwest Arkansas, 23 for Omaha, also another 7 in Surprise. The year before that, though, 76 games for Omaha. And there is Parker Marin, and got him! Great tag, throw is there on the bounce, and that'll do it for the top of the 8th. Second caught stealing of the day. Salvi Perez first, Parker Marin second, 3-1 Indians. Opportunities, Jeff Montgomery.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Parker Morin gets in, has an opportunity. Mike Broadway does a nice job. Quick release home and just a nice throw. One hopper, second base on the money.
Well, Parker was rated as the best defensive catcher in the Royals minor league system by Baseball America entering the 2014 season. 2015, he threw out 15 of 34 potential base stealers for the Naturals, so he's got some history with this. Evan Marshall is the new pitcher for the Indians. Ramon Torres gets his first at bat.
Evan Marshall, drafted out of Kansas State University.
That's another team you'll probably be rooting for in the tournament, right?
Yeah.
You're paying tuition there.
Yep.
Napoli is out, by the way, replaced by Loopstock. Got that on your card?
No, I don't. I just keep track of the action, not the names at this stage.
Smart man. Well, Torres off of the bag. He might have beat it anyway. He was looking to go opposite field. 2 swings in a row. And Ramon Torres, who made his big league debut, a jack of all trades last season, battling for a roster spot this spring.
Yeah, going to be an interesting battle. Probably him and Ryan Goins for that utility spot. But here Torres trying to do everything he can. He's maybe looking for a double, but it's going to be instead an infield single, it looks like.
My scorecard originally had Gore in for Gordon, which he is in the field, and Torres in for Cuthbert, but they flipped him. So Torres is batting first in Gordon's spot, but playing third, and Gore is playing left field in Gordon's spot, but batting third.
Got that one.
All right. I didn't, but now I do. Nice grab there. Over the railing for out number 1. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. There's Terrence Gore. If he had been the one with that cue shot off of the bag, could he have maybe made it to second? Probably not.
If anyone could, he could.
I always think anything is possible. I know it would never happen, but I would love to watch Gore and Burns in a race. I know Gore wins, but Burns he's really not that far behind. 2 really close friends, both of whom were taken off of the 40-man roster, but both ended up back in the system with the Royals, which is certainly great news for the organization. And I think the 2 of them certainly have value to the Royals, and they seem to be happy here in the organization as they try to make it back to the big leagues.
Well, especially early in the season when oftentimes you don't need that 5th guy in the rotation. You're able to have the bonus player like a Terrence Gore we've seen last season be another ingredient for Ned Yost to go to late in ball games, try to be a difference maker with the speed.
The last out, by the way, was Donnie DeWeese. Didn't have a chance to talk about him, but he was acquired in a trade with the Cubs a little over a year ago, about 13 months ago. That was the deal that sent Alec Mills to the Cubs. So 2 outs, or pardon me, 1 out, 1 on for Gore as he goes down swinging. And that'll now bring up the catcher, Parker Morin. Can you imagine if we still had Mike Morin, the Kansas City native, with the Royals pitching to Parker Morin and Morin? Nightmare.
It would be. I don't think HUD would like that.
I would love to listen to that. That would absolutely be a disaster. But here is the 24-year-old Parker Morin. He's thrown a runner out. Now what will he do at the plate? I should say 26 years old on Parker. I made him younger. Throws right, bats left. Do you have a favorite player growing up that did that? No, maybe not. Who was it? Well, your favorite, I guess, overall was Pete Rose.
Yeah, I really admire the way he overachieved. That's why I like Pete Rose so much. Tremendous numbers, but a guy not gifted with enormous ability, but overachieved with that ability.
How many guys get to not only make it to the big leagues, but then play for their favorite player once they make it to the big leagues? Your first big league manager was your childhood hero.
It was obviously a dream come true for me to have a chance to put on a Reds uniform. But I tell you, one of the happiest days of my baseball career was the day I was traded.
And that one with the basket catch does not fall in, falls into the glove. And after 8, Royals still trailing in this one. We head to the 9th. Royals Baseball is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Surprise Arizona and Surprise Stadium, ranked the best spring training facility in the Cactus League by USA Today. New pitcher for the Royals, one of their top pitching prospects. Keep an eye on this guy and this name, Foster Griffin. We visited with him on Futures Night last year. I think it was Foster and Frank Schwindel that were our guests that night on the pregame show. And the left-hander, by numbers, very impressive and certainly a fun guy to talk to.
Yeah, he was very unique, very interesting. His father's a golf instructor who worked with Zach Greinke, so Foster's had a chance to get to know Zach in a little bit different way, and I think he's picked his brain a little bit, so good guy to learn from.
4-2 with a 2.86 in 10 starts for Wilmington last year, 60 strikeouts and 20 walks. Then at Northwest Arkansas, 11-5 with a 3.61, 81 strikeouts, 34 walks. Was the 2017 Paul Splittorff minor league pitcher of the year, the Northwest Arkansas pitcher of the year. Was in the futures game for the Royals. There was a nice write-up, say maybe about a week ago, a little bit less, on MLB.com, as they talk about some of the prospects around baseball. And so we will certainly anticipate the arrival down the road of the 22-year-old left-hander out of Orlando, Florida. 28th overall selection in the 2014 draft.
Yeah, and you just tell by watching his mechanics and his demeanor on the mound. He's in control of things. Big lefty. Ball comes out of his hand very, very nicely.
Ninth inning here between the Royals and the Indians. Francisco Mejia is the batter, Griffin on the mound. First of 2 Cactus League games between these teams. And then they will meet 19 times during the season, with the Indians being the definitive favorite in the American League Central.
No doubt about that. There's 4 teams that are going to be battling.
Hunter Dozier with the play, covered for the out by Griffin. What a defensive gem there by the big guy at first.
Wow, what a play. Not a lot of first basemen make that play, and let alone a guy like Hunter Dozier, who's playing first base really for the first time, knowing that that might be an opportunity for him. Nice play on the stop and a nice feed, and Foster Griffin instinctively on the way over. As soon as the ball's hit to the right side, he's there.
There perhaps is a glimpse of the future at first base. Drafted as a third baseman. Started bouncing around outfield and first base with the thought of trying to get him to the big leagues, then just had a frustrating year.
I thought he's actually drafted as a shortstop.
Shortstop, you're right.
He's very athletic.
There's an athletic shortstop. Arteaga throws it over. 1-2-3 with some great defense by the big 6'4" first baseman, Hunter Dozier.
It's all pop culture trivia, but it gets
Saturday, Sporting KC visits San Jose. Earthquakes coverage begins at 7 p.m. on Fox Sports Kansas City and Fox Sports Go. Sporting had a nice win yesterday, so congrats to them on that. Always fun to see them doing well as they have begun their season. And the last pitcher, perhaps, of the day, Lewis Head.
And Lewis Head has outstanding fastball, excellent slider, put away pitch for him. Look at his numbers there. Looks like AAA last year in Columbus.
Monty's already in regular season form with the scouting reports. Nicely done. Last chance for the Royals. Frank Schwindel will be the first to the plate. Livingston, New Jersey native. 18th round pick in the 2013 draft by the Royals. And the George Brett Minor League Hitter of the Year. So we just went from the Paul Splittorff Minor League Pitcher of the Year in Foster Griffin to the George Brett Hitter of the Year. What did Frank do last season? 350 at Northwest Arkansas. And line drive is caught in left field. And then he went on to Omaha in 99 games, batted .321 with 17 homers. So a nice 23 home run season. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls Inc., inspiring all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. The combination of long-lasting mentoring relationships, safe pro-girl environments, and research-based programming equip girls to lead healthy lives, break the cycle of poverty, and become leaders in their communities. Visit foxsportssupports.com to learn more. Billy Burns up for the second time. Speaking of community support, how about the new Urban Youth Academy, Monty?
Yeah, nice to see that finally getting on track, and saw some young amateur players here from the RBI program today, and I'm sure they're enjoying their stay in spring training, learning from the pros.
Now, if this were a regular season game, we would be sitting right now saying, with one out, down two, just get Billy Burns on.
Billy Burns did a nice job last time keeping the ball on the ground, hitting the ball up the middle, and ends up scoring so far the Royals' only run.
Popped up and caught for out number 2. That was the new third baseman, Todd Hawkins. Down to the final out. Carnes went 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 homer. That was the only damage. Looked good otherwise. Richard Lovelady, the left-handed prospect who visited with us after a 1-inning outing. He lamented the 1 walk, but no damage done in that one. Then Eric Skoglund, 2 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run, no walks and 2 strikeouts. Broadway went an inning and a third. Griffin, 1 scoreless inning. 8 hits allowed, 3 runs. On the other side, for the Indians, they have allowed on the day 6 hits. It took a while for the Royals to gather those hits and the 1 run. And that ball hot shot to third, and that'll do it. A quick game here in Surprise as the Royals drop to 7-8-1 in the Cactus League. Brad Mills with his split squad Indians take it against the Royals. 3-1 is the final in this one. We'll be back to put a wrap on it after the quick break.